Okay, so question 6 is our first essay of the paper, and it's all about the authoritarian personality. Now, before we start, there's a few things that I want to point out. Firstly, the command word is discuss, which means that there is marks for both outline and evaluation. Second, this is an 8 marker, so the mark distribution is going to be 3 for outline and 5 for evaluation, which means that we're going to do like 2 evaluation points. So I'm going to do a little plan so that you can see what I want to do. So in my outline, I want to talk about what the authoritarian personality is. I want to include some of the main traits, and I want to talk about where it comes from. Now, these are technically the same things that you would include in a 6 mark outline, but they're all important, so I want to include them all. I'll just have to cut down on how much information I give on each of them. I'm then going to use 2 evaluation points, 1 piece of research support, and 1 limitation that argues that the explanation can't account for obedience in large populations of people. Okay. Now, that second one is particularly useful for a discussion essay because it refers to an alternative explanation for obedience, which is social identity theory. And alternative explanations are always good for discuss essays. So let's have a look at the essay. So here's the outline. Here are the bits that I mentioned in my essay. They're all outlined. As you can see, I didn't give all of the information that I could have done, especially for the traits and for the origins, but I just gave enough to make it clear to the examiner what it is that I want to talk about. Okay, so in that first little bit there, you've got that it's a dispositional explanation for obedience, and you've got the 2 main traits as well, which are the extremely high levels of obedience and contempt for those who are seen to be below us. Okay, and then this second little bit here, highlighted in pink, you've got the origins, so overly harsh and critical parenting, which results in unresolved anger and resentment, which is ultimately displaced onto people who are seen as inferior. Okay, so that's the outline. There's the first little bit, and then there's the second little bit. Just a word on that final line in the outline about the F scale. You don't necessarily have to have that in, but I've put it in because I mentioned the F scale in my first evaluation point, so I just thought I'd put it in just for a little bit of continuity. Okay? So here is the first evaluation point, research support by Milgram and Elms. And then the second evaluation point down here, which is more the discussion point, with the reference to social identity theory being more useful to explain obedience in large populations of people. Okay, so that second point argues that Adorno's theory is limited because it can only explain obedience in individuals. Okay, and that is the 8 mark essay on the authoritarian personality. I hope that's made sense. I will see you in question 7.